Hello. Anybody in English? This is Olga from Costa Rica. Good afternoon, good evening. Anybody here? My English-speaking followers. Anybody here? One person. Hello, who is there? Here is Olga Vasilchuk. I would like to share with you my thoughts today about the new moon in Pisces, the upcoming new moon. Okay, let's wait for anybody can give me a sign that you are here. Anybody in English? All right, I will start talking. I will see later what's going on, who is joining. It's 5 p.m. in Costa Rica, March 5th. So, yes, yeah, okay, I will tell you something later because I'd like to see if there are other people coming. Because I have a cat and he got crazy during the live streaming at 10 a.m. For Russian audience. Then he got crazy, too excited at 2 p.m. for French-speaking audience. And between the live streaming, he was sleeping. I don't understand why he was not sleeping during the live streaming. And now again, he's playing with the wires, with my feet. Rumi, I will show you the cat later. I will see if people will come up. Okay, I will start talking about the new moon in Pisces that will occur tomorrow on March 6th in the 20, where is the data? 503, oh, this is Paris time. 1604, 4 p.m. 04, Standard East, I mean New York, MontrEal, okay? Why he's not sleeping now? Okay, I will show you him later. Dogs, birds, cats, pura vida, pure life, pure nature. Okay, so the particularity of this upcoming new moon is that I called the video, by the way, the time of inner silence and the border between the worlds. So actually there are two major factors of the upcoming new moon is that today on March 5th, Mercury gets retrograde in 29th, almost 30 degree of Pisces. And tomorrow, on the day of the new moon, March 6th, Uranus will enter Taurus for the second time because it entered already Taurus on May 15th, 2018. Then it was retrograde, then it got direct and it entered again, yeah, being retrograde to Aries, and now it enters, it's direct of course, and it enters Taurus tomorrow. So Mercury has three weaknesses. Mercury, which gets retrograde today, his first weakness is that it is retrograde, right? In retrograde motion, and during the entire month of March, Mercury goes backward, and it also remains stationary in the beginning and at the end of March, because you know the stationary phase is the phase between the direct and the retrograde movement, and in the end of its retrograde phase is the couple of days of between the retrograde and the direct movement, right? The retrograde nature of any planet cannot be described as a definitive weakness. It can be even sometimes useful. It's not a question of a totally natural state of the planet. It must be taken into the account that normal movement, natural movement is of course direct movement, but we need also a retrograde movement of the planets. So retrograde movement of Mercury is a traditional sign of Mercury's weakness, and as a result of the vulnerability of the mercurial sphere, communication, travels, contact, studies, etc. And of course, the second thing is that Mercury is in Pisces, and it will be retrograde in Pisces until the end of March, and even in, of course, in April. It will stay in Pisces for a long time. So the placement of Mercury in Pisces is the least favored placement of the planet in the zodiacal circle. This is the position of the exile or detriment. I know that in English we have two terms. Okay, 6 people. You're coming up, yeah. Because I would like to show you. I would like to show you later my cat, because he is playing now. I'm exhausted because I was fighting with him, trying to make him sleep, trying to close him in another room, but useless efforts. So I let him play now. I don't know why he doesn't sleep. He was sleeping between the live streamings. Okay, so Mercury in Pisces gets retrograde today. So Mercury is in Pisces in the sign of his exile or detriment. Mercury is retrograde, and also it forms a very long conjunction with Neptune. We had the conjunction Mercury with Neptune today. I think it was 2 weeks ago at the full moon. But in the end of its retrograde phase, because the retro movement will stop, the retrograde phase of Mercury will end on March 28. Mercury being in the 16th degree of Pisces, and Neptune will be in the 16th, almost 17th degree of Pisces. So Mercury will form on the 28th of March, the second conjunction with the Neptune. Okay, so we can say that, like, the conjunction Mercury-Neptune lasts for 1.5 months. Hirumi, calm down, please. It's impossible. I will show you him later, because otherwise I will get distracted. I'm already distracted. So, if you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, the transit period of Mercury retrograde is favorable to you, of course. So you have to see what is the house that Mercury retrograde transits in your birth chart. Okay. Another major event of the new moon is the ingression of Uranus in Taurus. Uranus stays in one sign for 7 years approximately, right? So Aries can breathe. Actually, those who have luminaires, personal planets, I mean, the sun and the moon, and as well as personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars in Aries, as well as the angular houses, the cusps of the angular houses. Ascendant, descendant, midheaven, bottom of the sky, 4th house, 10th house. Okay, but Tauruses, or those who have personal planets and the angular houses, are getting ready to the ingression of Uranus into Taurus. Until the summer of 2025, Uranus will be in the sign of Venus, in the sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus. Then it will enter Gemini for a few months and will return to Taurus at fall, and where it will stay in Taurus until April 2026, before to make the definite ingression to Gemini. So if you don't have personal planets and cusps of the angular houses in the sign that receives the transit of, in our case, of Uranus, this transit can pass unseen for you. It will be like a background transit. But as long as you have, for example, me, I have Chiron, I don't remember the degree, but like somewhere in the beginning of the sign I have Chiron, so Uranus will from the conjunction, because the conjunction is the most powerful aspect, right? With my Chiron in Taurus. So if you have personal planets in Taurus, you will feel this transit, of course. So on a personal level, the action of Uranus through the conjunction, especially the conjunction with the personal planet, is felt as a deceptive, whipping, cruel, insane. It can seem to us insane and pitiless. Uranus undoubtedly brings this fresh wind of change, as they say in good astrology books, but after destroying the walls of our comfortable, though ancient, refuge or home. It's not a real pleasure to receive the transit of Uranus in conjunction with your personal planet. So over the next 7 years, the owners of the personal planets and of the angles of the theme, in Taurus will experience the events that will revive them. For example, divorces, separations, forced movings or firings, accidents of variable gravity, and other problems. But once again, you always have to check what happens in other predictive techniques, in the solar arc, in the secondary progressions, in the solar return, what happens with eclipses. So, like transits, these are additional method, but not the primary method of predictions. Nevertheless, the conjunction of Uranus is extremely powerful. For example, if you are born with Uranus in your if in your natal chart Uranus is like, let's say, 2 signs after your solar sign, sun sign, you will never receive the conjunction of Uranus, the conjunction of the transit Uranus with your natal sun, because Uranus stays in one sign for 7 years. So you have to see whether you have personal planets, especially Sun, Venus, Mars, right? Also Moon in Taurus. So the new moon tomorrow, as I said, 4:04 p.m. for New York, Eastern Time, in the 1547 of Pisces, and the exact conjunction of the new moon, Sun Moon, of course, in conjunction, will form the conjunction with Neptune. Okay, and this stellium and Neptune makes the beginning of this lunar month very special. Neptune likes to distort the picture and reduce the sharpness. It reduces the sharpness. It's better not to develop, to make very concrete plans or to make responsible promises. If people count on you, you won't be able to be responsible. I mean, you won't be able to respect, to keep your promises because of this conjunction of Neptune. The business here is more vulnerable, where clarity is crucial, but signs, unusual coincidence, sudden déjà vu have a special meaning, of course, these days. And we must bring to the dreams of the night from Wednesday to Thursday of this week a special particular attention. And the exact conjunction of the Sun and Neptune, which will be exact on March 7th, one day after the new moon, but of course today and tomorrow during the new moon we are in the orb of the conjunction Sun Neptune. It will last for a couple of days after the new moon. So yesterday to even today, because the new moon will be formed tomorrow, like we have a couple of hours right before the new moon. These are the days of before yesterday and today, of the stationary Mercury, and the last. This is the last day of the previous lunar month, the day of the Hecate. this is the time of the inner silence, of the search for inner wisdom and of inner resources. This is the time of liberation that heals the internal emotional problems and the problems that are a burden for us. If you're not ready for this search of inner resource, the days of stationary Mercury and of the first lunar month, like one day before the new moon, will be the days of destructive emotional states and disappointments. So the conjunction Sun-Neptune will occur on the 7th of March and the 16th degree of Pisces. And in personal relationships, this will be the 2 days before and after the exact aspect. These will be the days of a special emotivity and susceptibility, in French, susceptibility, sensitiveness. An accidental encounter can turn into something more serious later. This is a good moment to work with dreams and, of course, for creative activity, for intuitive vision, for more subtle emotional receptivity and beautiful romantic encounters. But please, during the conjunction, Sun and Neptune, especially like just one day after the new moon, it means that the moon was and will still be in Pisces. Alcohol and psychotropic substances can become a source of problem if you, you know, want to hide from your. If you want to feel better through alcohol, it will have the hangover will be worse. You know, the way you will feel the day before, after, you will regret. Okay, so you have to be careful with the drugs. I mean, drugs like medicine, drugs, and psychotropic substances, or alcohol. Today, tomorrow, on the 7th, and on the 8th also of March. All right. What are other aspects, transit aspects of the upcoming 2 weeks? March 9, the Sun in sextile with Saturn. Contacts with the people we need, with our superiors and with our colleagues, will be fruitful. This is the time of making responsible decisions. If you show personal discipline and you work on a specific result, you will be successful. March 10, Mars in sextile with Neptune. We may have success through these tactics, you know, strategy, moderate power or soft power. Good time to work with the dreams again, and good moment for meditation and energy practices like, meditation, also Reiki, psychic readings, we could not say psychology readings, but if you want to consult a psychologist, yes, he will, with his intuition, will understand what you feel, and he will receptive to your emotional state more than usually. March 13th, the Sun is sextile with the Pluto, and March 14th, the Sun in square to Jupiter. Okay, one harmonious, one tense aspect. On one hand, there will be the ability to see in depth, thanks to the sextile Sun and Pluto, discover what is hidden, to better control ourselves and to influence others. So this is the perfect day of conscious work with the subconscious and with dreams. It's desirable to take into account the intuitive, I like this word, premonition. But at the same time, square Sun Jupiter gives what? Over-evaluation, like surestimation, overestimation of our strength, and also arrogance can lead to scenarios that, don't correspond to what we have planned before initially. March 14th, Mars in trine with the Saturn. Mars is weak because it's in Taurus, is in fall, right? And it's considerably strengthened by strong planets, by the strong planet, by Saturn. Goals are achieved easily, less energy is required. Successful contacts with the superiors, more productive work with the tangible material results. discipline and concentration will give good results. Now, on March 15th, just one day after this aspect, we will have the conjunction of Mercury with the Sun. So Mercury retrograde will be in conjunction with the Sun in the 24th degree of Pisces, and this is called the combustion of Mercury. So the conjunction Mercury-Sun with the orb of 0 degrees, it's called a combustion. So actually from March 12th to 15th are the, even 16th are the day of the Mercury's combustion, when the ability to interact adequately with the outside world is disrupted, which may cause difficulties in concentration and a lot of distraction. Something may prevent us from giving a correct assessment of what is happening in our life. It's better to postpone important decisions during conjunction Mercury-Sun, the combustion. Now, March 15th, 16th, 16 and 18, 3 aspects of Mercury retrograde. March 15, Mercury retrograde square Jupiter. March 16, Mercury retrograde sextile with the Pluto. And March 18, Mercury retrograde in sextile with the Mars. So Mercury, which is weak in Pisces and retrograde, is strongly supported by strong planets, Pluto and Mars, including the ruler of Pisces, the second ruler of Pisces, Jupiter. So this configuration, I mean the 3 aspects that are formed one after another, allow us to, this configuration allows us to discover what is hidden. These are days of thorough analysis of the information, and if necessary, it is necessary to analyze our errors, because Mercury is retrograde, right? To look backward, to analyze what we were not doing correctly. It's always useful to make one step backward in order to, after the end of the retrograde phase of Mercury, to make 2 steps forward. We will have the possibility to settle controversial issues, to influence the other side, to convince the opponent. All right. March 20, Mars in trine with the Pluto. I really like aspects of Mars, for example, with the Saturn, trines, and with the Pluto. March 20, Mars in trine with the Pluto, days for fairly firm and decisive action in area that interests us, and we'll have the ability to mobilize inner resources to perform complex tasks, both at work and in personal relationships. And actually, from now, in 2 weeks, the Sun will enter Aries. It will be the day of the spring equinox, right? It will be the beginning of a new astronomical year, the day of the full moon in Libra. So the day of the spring equinox, which is the ingression of Sun in Aries, marks the beginning of the new astronomical year, the beginning of a new universal cycle, promising renewal and new opportunities. But during the 2 last weeks of this lunar month, actually, from now until March 20, we will experience a transition between the 2 worlds, when the past forms will disappear and the outlines of the new reality will not be visible yet. We will still have a little time. We have 2 weeks left at this time of this stage of transition, which corresponds to the sign of Pisces, where we have the Sun and Mercury now, right? To be alone with to stay alone with ourselves, to reconnect to the internal source. So what's happening is that we are invited to recall the most important, the essential, which will become the basis of a new path, of a new universal cycle, with the ingression of the Sun in Aries. And it's not only about the position of the Sun in Pisces. The loop of Mercury retrograde in Pisces lasts for 2 months, since the middle of February until the middle of mid-February until the middle of April. So we are invited now to revisit our relationship with the subtle world, with our states, with our emotions, with our emotional states, and also to learn to see the hidden, what is hidden from the naked eye. I mean, to see the unseen of the physical world, to orient ourselves to intuition, to trust our intuition and our insights. So that's why I call this video, and now the cat calmed down. Where is he? Rumi. The transition between the two worlds. This was the title, right? Because I have text in three languages in front of me. At the border between the worlds and the time of the inner silence. So this is it, my friends. I hope it was clear. Like, good luck for the last 2 weeks of the astronomical year, because in 2 weeks we will celebrate a new year, Okay. So good luck. So I mean that nobody says hello. Okay. So happy new moon, and talk to you very soon. The next time, next Friday, March 8th, live stream with the tarot reading for all on YouTube. Yes, you will receive notification. So next Friday at 5 p.m. Costa Rica, at the same time as today, on Friday, tarot reading for all. So take care. Bye-bye.